Hey everybody, it's Leo here, and today I'm going to show you how to make a salmon melt. That's right, salmon, not tuna, and this is going to be better than any tuna melt that you have ever had. With that being said, let's get right to it. First up, I'm going to have 2 pounds of salmon, and you can get this fresh or frozen. It doesn't matter which way you get it. And I'm going to season it with 1 teaspoon of dried dill, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to sprinkle that over both sides, and then I'm just going to rub it in to make sure that it gets all covered properly. Then I'm going to pop it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes until it's done. And while the salmon is in the oven cooking, I'm going to then saute 1 red bell pepper and half a yellow onion. And I'm just seasoning it with 1 teaspoon of salt and a half teaspoon of black pepper. I'm just going to toss them together, and I've got a little bit of oil in there, maybe a couple tablespoons, and I'm just going to saute them until they're softened, and that's going to take about 15 minutes till that gets to the point where I like it. Now that my salmon is done and I've let it sit for about 15 minutes to cool down some, I'm then just going to pull it away from the skin. I'm not doing anything special, just use my hands to pull it off of the skin and putting it into a bowl. And then once I've got it all into the bowl, I'm going to use my fork to make the pieces smaller. And after I've got that done, what I'm going to do next is then start to assemble everything. And I've got my red bell pepper and onion that I've sauteed, and I'm going to begin adding that to the salmon in the bowl. And after I got that done, I'm going to add in my seasonings, which will be 1 teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of dried dill, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a half teaspoon of black pepper, and a half teaspoon of celery seed, then 1 cup of mayo. So now I've got everything in the bowl to make my salmon salad, and I'm just going to mix it all together and then let it sit for about 15 minutes to let all the flavors come together before I put it on 2 pieces of brioche bread. And I'm going to use provolone cheese. You can use any kind of cheese you like, but I'm going to be using provolone. I'm using 1 slice on the bottom. I'm going to add my salmon salad, and then on top of that, I'm going to be adding 1 more slice of provolone cheese. And after I get that added, I'm going to put it in a cast iron skillet that is going to have a tablespoon of butter and also a tablespoon of vegetable oil. And I'm using the oil because butter has a low smoke point, so you just want to make sure that you do that so that your bread doesn't burn because your butter's burnt. And then after I've got that toasted on one side, I'm going to flip it over and then toast the other side. And that is how you make a delicious salmon melt that is much better than any tuna melt that you will ever find. I want you to write in the comments of what you think of this one after you made it. I promise you are going to love this one.